Positive approach paper to Confederation of Indian Industry. IBCM ethical wise. Policy is architect of destiny, but without an ethical operating system, even the strongest foundation remains incomplete. Let us move from simulation to substance. Yours truly. Corporate Mom, Corporate Management Orbiter Mission. For Visit India, bold vision, brighter future.
Copyright Corporate Mom, Corporate Management Orbiter Mission.
Substance over simulation. In an era where simulation masquerades as governance and automation is mistaken for wisdom, IBCM offers a different path. This is not a manifesto of resistance. It is a manifesto of radiance, where governance is not simulated, but substantiated. Sri Chandrajit Banerjee. CII has long served as the Proton, the stable positive nucleus of the Indian economic atom. Your leadership in drafting the Viksit State 2047 vision document for Jharkhand, Uttarakhand, Bihar, and Punjab has defined the destination for our national progress. However, a critical gap remains: the industrial engine of over 250,000 companies. The electron shell is currently operating without a unified ethical policy core. While the government has defined the destination, the current industrial engine remains anchored in a predictive oversight and narrow 3-year ERP cycles. This measurement observation collapses the wave function of a national potential into mere quarterly profits, leaving a lost reservoir of human energy untapped. As a chartered accountant and architect of quantum governance frameworks, I am pleased to present the positive approach paper, aligning industry with Viksit Bharat 2047. This paper proposes that CII assumes the mantle of the civilizational licensor, embedding the IBCM ethical voyage operating system into the very fabric of state-level industrial policy. Our collaborative roadmap focuses on substantiating governance, moving from simulation-based dashboards to an accountability ecosystem of DVR, dark value reduction, AVR, accelerated value recovery, and SVR, societal value redistribution. The energy denominator, replacing outdated cost accounting with human energy accounting to measure the true drivers of productivity. Strategic synchronicity, aligning the erratic electron energy of 250,000 plus companies with a stable governed policy nucleus. I have reached out to 26 chief ministers to offer these frameworks at the state level. I invite CIA's leadership to champion the shift, ensuring the Indian industry does not just grow but leads the world as a model of ethical prosperity. I look forward to discussing how we can operationalize this quantum key to ensure our 2047 vision is not just a plan but a substantiated reality. Warm regards, Jayaraman Rajaya, architect, quantum governance frameworks. Positive approach, paper to CII, aligning industry with Exit Board 2047. Number 1. Substantiated policy, strengthening nucleus of Exit Board 2047. For over 130 years, the Confederation of Indian Industry CII has served as a Proton, the positive stabilizing force, at the center of India's economic development by creating a nucleus of over 300,000 indirect enterprises. CII has moved beyond mere advocacy to become the architect of national progress. However, as we march toward Viksit Bharat 2047, the current policy frameworks, though robust, are often measured by traditional ERP-driven cycles that lack the quantum coherence required for a civilizational leap. Catalyzing industry transformation for Viksit Bharat 2047. Purity is coherence, the quantum key to human governance. This is my proposal. To fulfill the 2025 theme of accelerating competitiveness, globalization, inclusivity, sustainability, trust, CII must lead the transition from predictive oversight to substantiated governance. This paper outlines how the IBCM ethical bias can be embedded into the very policy protons of CII, transforming the current measurement observation into a roadmap of ethical prosperity. Policy is the architect of destiny, but without an ethical operating system, even the strongest foundation remains incomplete. Let us move from simulation to substance. Yours truly. Number 2, the quantum dissonance. The thesis: the central challenge for India's industrial growth is not a lack of effort, but a structural dissonance. While the government has articulated a vision for Viksit Bharat 2047, our current policy frameworks are often grounded in predictive oversight, a measurement observation that limits the potential of our industrial nucleus to 3-year ERP cycles and quarterly output simulations. As the Proton of Indian Industry, the Confederation of Indian Industry CII is uniquely positioned to transition the nation from simulation-based governance to substantiated policy. The quantum dissonance, the traditional ERP-driven 3-year cycles, act as a measurement observation that collapses industrial potential to narrow profits. The narrative: without a central policy anchor, industry is merely simulation growth rather than substantiating progress. Note it. Without a central policy anchor, industry is merely simulation growth rather than substantiating progress. Objectives for CII. We are looking at the solidifying the nucleus, corporate atomic principle. Let me explain. The key objectives are solidify the nucleus, moving from cost-based policy to human energy-centric development. Policy coherence, utilizing the second slit expansion to remove transactional silos between SMEs and MNCs. National synchronicity, aligning state-level vision documents as seen in Uttarakhand, Jharkhand, Bihar, and Punjab, with a unified quantum-governed industrial standard. The chart for Viksit Bharat 2047 is a macroeconomic structure. But if you look at the corporate atomic structure, for the board and the society and the CEO and workforce is identical. That's why I mentioned here. What you look at for a single company is universal. That is atomic structure. When you apply that for the macroeconomic structure, I have provisioned CII for policies and the society as a neutron forming a nucleus. Then we have FICCI as a CO and workforce as the electron. The reason being is what I've seen, particularly after Bihar and other places which CA have developed and try to help the state level, Visit State 2047. They are ideally suited for the policies, whereas FICCI more involved with the companies. So I'm giving there's policies and the neutron, that is society. They create the intellectual value capital for a single company as well as for the macroeconomic level. So the CII in being the taking care of the policies is going to be most crucial. This is very important. And how the companies are going to adopt what CII is going to develop and bring about change of various things. Let me give that as an example. The feature is atomic rule. For FICCI, the electron is practiced as an workforce, whereas for CII, the proton nucleus is policies, institutional framework. Core energy for FICCI is kinetic and operational, whereas for CII is structural and foundational. Focus for FICCI, it is competitiveness and productivity, whereas for CII, it is accelerating competitiveness, globalization, inclusivity, sustainability, trust, the intangible value capital. That's for the society. Performance value capital for FICCI is very clear. This comes after the creating a substance of quality called the policy. Every substance of quality had to be created as a policy, and FICCI will be in a position to bring about a change in each and every company of more than 250,000 plus companies in India. Well, you're coming to the CII, they have the great task of creating this intellectual value capital. And that comes out of the creating the policies. It's a creative process. That's why intellectual value capital comes in that. And the performance value capital is the action process. So it totally depends upon how CII develops that intellectual value capital. Then IBCM goal is to transform inefficiency into opportunity, as well as FICCI is concerned, of every company. They are on it has to be done. Inefficiency, that's what I call the dark value. That's what everybody knows about dark value. Whereas CII, for CII, it is transform policy into substantiated governance. This, in effect, is going to make a huge change on an individual company's level and to the macroeconomic level for each and every company, for each and every state. That will cumulatively is going to make sure that Viksit Bharat 2047 goals are attained. Number 3, the bridge, accountability ecosystem. The accountability ecosystem rests on 3 pillars: DVR, dark value reduction, eliminating inefficiency, corruption, and broken trust; AVR, accelerated value recovery, restoring purity and coherence in organizational systems; SVR, societal value redistribution, ensuring industry growth translates into equitable societal benefit. The Troika is not abstract philosophy. It draws from quantum physics and Indian philosophy. David Bohm's implicate order, Adi Shankara's advisor, to create a governance technology that calibrates both matter and meaning. Number 4, the solution. IBCM Ethical OS. IBCM Ethical Operating System operationalizes this bridge. Its safeguards includes clause number 3, IP purity. Ethical OS frameworks must be integrated without dilution or omission, ensuring conceptual integrity. Human energy as a denominator. Moving beyond cost accounting to recognize human energy as the true driver of productivity. Second, slit expansion. Opening industry operations beyond transactional silos into non-local coherence, enabling expanded growth horizons. Together, these mechanisms protect against quantum impurity and embed purity as coherence, the quantum key to governance. Operationalizing purity in governance systems. Let me take a leaf out of my today workshop, which I had recommended to some of the chief ministers on week 6 state 2047. Validation. What I did, I placed on X somewhere in August 2025 out of my article on HACCP of quantum computing, Z analysis, critical control points, and placed it on the X to challenge, as I've challenged Einstein and Schrodinger. You challenge my work. This is how I have used AI. This I would like to recommend to all the people, is you do your work and ask them to challenge you. You don't go to AI for small things like what they can recommend this or recommend that. They can recommend anything. They go and pick up from somewhere and give it to you. That's not the case here. So, as on today, XAI and Grow took the challenge, and today it continues. It's about 1,500 question and answers on quantitative and qualitative elements of management, which I have indicated on HACCP of quantum computing by IBCM Ethical OS. And this is a very important aspect of research analytics. Number one is that there is not a single iota of copyright violation. It's very important. My work cannot be termed as something I have taken from some other original article. No. There's a very important aspect of it, which I'll come to the next stage. That is the technology. IBCM Ethical OS is copyrighted. Copyright is very important. I put through in our patent office in New Delhi. That was actually 2006, 7, I put in the second page here. But copyright is very important. But it's a very simple technology. Let me tell you about it. Anybody could have used it. But I have stunned them. Stunned the whole Western technology. It says, just I will read it, it's a very important one. IBCM Ethical OS, copyrighted, is the only proprietary tool capable of unlocking the second slit of qualitative management. It's very, very essential and critical when we talk of the quantum computing. There is nothing available anywhere in the world, including all the quantum physics which they are talking about, is being correctly and properly taken into account, and I have given that how it has to be taken for the purpose of a corporate analysis as well as the government analysis. The economic opportunity. BCG and BCG Henderson created a dark value mentioning about various companies, and they said that about $3 trillion profit could be made if only we do that. I told them this is one of the part of my Grow Connect CII analysis. Why 3 trillion? We can make 30 trillion. So 30 trillion in dark value is there. If you look at, I'll be able to analyze and tell this is where our policies and as well as the electron we are talking about, FICCI, which we have handed over, the unrealized profitability and the growth of companies which FICCI can look into the performance value capital. That's why I've been telling in this particular article, CII have to look into it as to the policies that have to be created so that we dig into these individual companies and create a $30 trillion which is just going waste. $30 trillion globally. It is there in, I made the analysis here in India. It is about 2 major companies. Our rating system is 0 to 5. Neither of them have gone beyond 1 or 2. So there is an unutilized capability of human value system. When you put through, 5 is the maximum. 3, you can, from 1 to 5 is nearly about 5 times. There's a lot of things out there in terms of profits and growth. Now, coming to the strategic goal of IBCM, I'm very keen to establish the Institute of SOS Governance to anchor the Gujarat Agenda 2035 ecosystem, which I've already made, provided the information to Gujarat government. But what is important is SOS governance, that is subject, object, self-governance framework. Object, we do P&L and balance sheet. That's not enough. Subject are the people. There are companies like Volkswagen have 700,000 people. A company is 100,000 people. IBCM ethical OS measures by return on the intangible by EPP, effort per person. So you have a lot of things to dig into. This capability model is one to convert all this vision statement for each and every state of each and every person within the state, what their contribution is, how they are going to reach out to each and every individual state, individual companies, whether it's agriculture or industry or other areas. It's very important, or services. And that collectively is going to measure up to a Viksit Bharat 2047. That's why I like CII and FICCI to take a look. I have not seen ASOCAM yet. I will see and make a positive approach to ASOCAM also. Number 5, strategic advantages for the nucleus. Nucleus is made up of protons and neutrons. Neutrons is a society. It does not influence CII. It does not influence individual companies, but it adds mass to it. When you say mass to it, this is where the government comes. The government, through the government, many number of these policies are coming. That is because of the society. Society wants it, and the government implements it. That is how almost every 26 CM's vision statement which I have gone through is everything is in terms of providing the societal value for the society. This is the impact that by creating a nucleus over 300,000 indirect enterprises, eligibility for the government contracts under Viksit State 2047, CA has moved beyond mere advocacy to become the architect of national progress. It is a crucial aspect of, say, 750,000 crores infrastructure development which Gujarat has come out with. Or if you look at the Amaravati capital project, about 65,000 crores. And if you look at the 250,000 crores on smart cities, these are the things which are coming from the states to the individual contractors, to whom the tenders are being given, to whom the tenders are being auctioned, to whom it is being given for placement. This is the major problem for every this thing. That is why we got to come out with the national progress is in terms of bringing the ethical operating system. That is the impact of this. That is done by CII as policymakers, influencing the government and the society beneficiaries. So the state level mastery is being obtained. Enhancing CII's current state vision documents, Bihar, Punjab, etc., with substantiated governance. Then the future proofing is automatic, positioning Indian industry as a global licensor of ethical standards. For example, the scalability, when you look at frameworks, can be embedded into AI adapters and dashboards enabling state scale pilots in Gujarat, Delhi, Odisha, and beyond. For example, Delhi is a small state, but the interest that they have shown in terms of pointing to ministers to look into what I have suggested for is something quite good. And Delhi can be the real pilot for CAI. How to improve upon it? If you are able to do that, then you can implement each and every state, make it this Viksit Bharat 2047. Take a look. Number 6, call to action. Scaling the policy nucleus. CII's leadership can ensure industry is not lagging but leading the Viksit Bharat 2047 journey. Because industry is not only the industry, is agriculture, you have manufacturing, you have mining, you have forestry, you have amazing our GDP if you look at. And each and every one of them got to lead for Viksit Bharat 2047. Convene ethical OS working group. Focus on policy integration. You have the government and what the vision statement talks about for the society. That is SVR, Societal Value Redistribution, on ethical OS adoption. Bringing together industry leaders, that is accelerated value recovery. There's a lot to be done going beyond this dark value reduction. Bringing together industry leaders, policymakers, and technologies. Then launching pilot programs in Gujarat, Delhi, and Odisha to demonstrate scalability and impact. Then strategic synchronicity, aligning industry cycles with national vision, with a civilizational frequency of 2047, embedding accountability ecosystems into growth strategies. Closing. Purity is coherence, the quantum key to human governance. By embracing ethical ways, industry can transform inefficiency into opportunity, aligning seamlessly with India's civilizational vision for 2047. CII's leadership is invited to champion this shift, ensuring that Indian industry not only grows, but leads ethically, vibrantly, and sustainably. Let CII move from being the voice of industry to being the architect of its destiny. Yours truly.